On this week's podcast, guys, we're talking about banning iPhones.
I never had a mobile phone at school. I don't get why you need it.
The drama surrounding Rachel Zegler.
Routinely, this happens all the time.
It happened with The Little Mermaid a few years ago.
Why are we still tearing women down on the internet?
Hodge's favourite lip gloss, which I got to say, I love.
And then Merit.
For anyone just listening, Hodge is now putting
I'm
all
putting
the...
on.
Merit. Talk about Merit. And is this the end of nightclubs as we know them?
Oh my God, the death of the slut drop is upon us with the death of the nightclubs.
There's our trailer. Stay tuned. Welcome to the SheerLuxe Vodcast. I'm your host, Louise Roe, today. This is my inaugural host.
Woo!
I'm excited because usually I do the show, don't I? I'm joined by SL's head of broadcasting, Hodge.
One name, just like Kylie Minogue, Kylie, Hodge,
Beyonce.
the Teddy Patala.
Madonna, J-Lo, author, presenter and podcast host, Josh Smith. We're chatting all things new and noteworthy, plus our favourite celeb moments and answering your dilemmas. I mean, if you were here to just listen to the sort of pre-chat, guys, it's going to be spicy. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for weekly updates. It really helps us out. And congrats to competition winner Trish Xavier. And you won the Toucher yummy beauty stuff last week. Yeah. Please email podcast@sheerluxe.com to claim your goodies. Let's begin with outfits. Yes. Josh walked in and said I look like a dad. I was like, well, not my dad.
No, I just kind of feel like if this was on a dad, you'd be a bit like, what?
No.
Do you know what I mean? No. But, so I'm wearing ELV denim. Jeans, which is like one of my favourite denim brands.
Yeah, nice.
And it's a cute story because when I was a fashion assistant, I worked with Anna Foster, who designs ELV denim.
Oh, wow.
And so we've known each other for like over 10 years, and she's kind of been my big sister in this industry. So it's always amazing to support her. So I wear these all the time. And then I'm wearing October. I don't know how to say it because it's like
Octobre.
Yes.
Octobre.
Suzanne's brother.
Yeah.
Suzanne's brother. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's what's going on. A little Pandora Jewels.
Hodge.
I am wearing Saint Laurent flats, Lisette leggings, stirrup leggings. This is a vintage blazer. Lou and I went to do a day shoot with Amy Bannerman, who is the stylist for eBay. She does all of Love Island. We went to shoot her for the day, and then she took us on a tour around Hastings. And there's an amazing vintage shop called Hawk and Doves. And Lou and I got 2 blazers, and then I had shoulder pads put in them to make them feel like a bit punchier, and then belt from Naked Fashion.
You look incredibly sexy and you're wearing flat shoes.
Thank you.
That's the goal. Well, I am wearing Jay McLaughlin, head to toe actually. I just wanted to be a bit more tailored.
Yeah.
But still jeans.
Yeah.
Right?
You look
For
very
spring.
chic,
You look
babe.
very spring.
You
Thank you very
do.
much. Do you know what? I quite like this Breton because it's cream and brown rather than blue or red.
Yeah, nice.
Shall we crack on?
Yeah, let's do it.
New and noteworthy, right? Where we spotlight our latest interests and faves. Josh, you're going to kick off with Snow White and some drama.
Yes. So, has anyone seen the new Snow White live-action remake
and
yet?
I feel I don't really know about this scoop, so...
Well, it's
hit
all
me
been
up.
quite dramatic from the beginning because they cast Rachel Zegler as Snow White. And there was quite a lot of far-right people on the internet being like, how can you cast a Latina in this role? It's a white person's role.
Oh, gosh.
So she was already on the back foot. And
Yeah.
then since then, she said certain things along lines of, this isn't going to be a princess waiting to be rescued by a prince anymore. She's going to become a leader that she wants to be, which is what we want from our Disney princesses now. We don't want them as like these two-dimensional characters waiting for a man to save them because that's not the kind of it's not the kind of story we want to be telling our kids, is it? No,
that's not the messaging.
We want them to become leaders, and that is what this Snow White is all about. But she has faced so much backlash online. It's actually disgusting.
gosh.
And I went to go see it the weekend, and I put out this is on a thread. I mean, who knew they popped off? But I put out a thread saying, I think that everyone who's vilified Rachel Zegler owes her an apology after seeing this performance. I had thousands of like abusive messages about Rachel Zegler, who she is, knocking her character. She is one of the most talented all-round young actors in our generation.
Really
and I just think it's so sad that routinely this happens all the time.
It happened with The Little Mermaid a few years ago as well.
It's so sad.
And that was recast.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so sad because why are we still tearing women down on the internet?
Why do people give a shit?
Why just let her live?
Extraordinary.
Let her live. Like, yeah, there's other things about the film that are, you could argue, are controversial. But the main issue I have with it is, why do we have to tear down a woman in the public eye?
Thank you for that as well, because we're going to lead into a sort of Women's History Month. You put up a reel. This actually brought tears to my eyes. And you were talking about the lack of male voices supporting that and being feminists. And a lot of men say they are feminists, but I'm not sure they even know what it means. And then was it a primary school teacher who had looked at your reel and ended up using it to teach a class and sent, this is what makes me teary, and sent all the post-it notes of the children who had written like ways to prop up women and support women and shout about women. I'll let you talk about it more.
Yeah, it was really sweet. So I'm a very vocal ally for women because women have been the great supporters in my life. Like when I've needed allyship as a gay person, it's always been women who've stood by my side. And I've always been so passionate about it. Like I've worked in female-dominated industries. I've worked pretty much exclusively with women. My whole team's women. I love women. And I think they're the most powerful, incredible people. And I think that it's really sad that we don't have more male allies in our society. And I really mean this like across all men, because straight men, gay men, I don't see the right level of allyship from gay men for women at the moment either. And on International Women's Day, I posted this reel saying, where are the male allies? We need to be stepping up. We need to be learning about women's rights issues, because women's rights issues affect everyone. They affect men, they affect women. No matter what you identify as, they will affect you. Like if we are curtailing people's rights to abortion, that will affect you. And equal pay, that affects you. And we are so far away from equality. So we need to be really revving up men to join the cause, because otherwise we're never going to get anywhere. And then off the back of that, the teacher reached out and said that she used it in her class to teach them about male allyship. And some of the things they talked about are so obvious, but, you know, like how to support women, how to do it. They were talking about not stealing women's ideas, not saying things are girly, like taking away the gender away from things. Off the back of adolescence, I also wrote an article for Glamour about where are male allies, and that's really a massive problem in our society, especially at school levels.
Is that online?
Yes, it's online right now. And that went huge as well. And adolescence has really shown us, but it's really shown us that we are not discussing women's issues with boys, or boys teaching boys how to respect women. And, you know, we talk about talking all the time, don't we, in our society, but we don't teach people how to talk or how to share their problems. And there's actually a really amazing book that I've started reading called Every Man, Why Violence Against Women is a Men's Issue. And it really talks about, I think every man should read this book.
That is so poignant for right this moment.
And it really talks about how you can make a difference. And a lot of men, I think they're not part of the problem.
Yeah.
But they need to be part of the solution. And that really starts with just calling out, if someone is saying something that is sexist, misogynistic, call it out. Like, start having conversations with your friendship group. Like, you may not think that you have a huge platform, but you don't need 1 million followers to affect people.
We're kind of talking about, can there be some famous voices out there? But it doesn't have to be. It's literally anyone in any community.
Like your dad.
Yeah.
If your dad is standing up for women's rights issues in your house, and there's a young boy in that house, he's going to be raised within a really empowered household and know how to treat women, see women in a really positive, amazing way that everyone should see women as.
I've got 2 daughters and they are 3 and 7. And it's not a stereotypical sort of phrase to say that they're sponges. Every single thing they see and hear is like what they kind of repeat and take in. And I think we are learning that they take that in for much longer than we might think. So it's very important that they're kind of shown that.
Environment is just so key. You know, they see the dads treat their mums and the respect, and then, you know, that's what they expect and they move forward.
It's also good that this has become a topic of conversation and really like a hot one at the moment. So it's good. And I do think that actually, to balance out the terrible issues with misogyny, there are more teachers starting to talk and parents to younger boys about how you should speak to women, talk to girls, you know. And I think when you become a teenager, even more so. Well, my picks are slightly less
I went from like
deep.
Misogynistic books.
No, but straight in. Love it. Well, it's kind of on the same theme that Mother's Day in the UK is this Sunday. It's different in the US. I've got a couple of cute gift ideas, guys.
Oh, love this.
So La Coquette, which I love because I'm still just in the little girl dresses
sweet.
zone.
Oh, cute.
We're like edging out soon. But La Coquette has done a lovely mummy-daughter matching dresses collab with Hill House. So really sweet little florals. And then actually, Charlotte England, my homewares brand, I've got lots of hand-painted ceramics, but there's a mug in particular that's called the Honour mug, named after my eldest. And it's hand-painted by one lady in Spain. And it's, it is chic actually. Yeah. I'm very particular about the shape and size of my mugs. You've got one of my mugs there.
Oh my God, these are sensational, can I just say?
Good.
I sat with the ceramicist, thanks guys, in Puglia. And literally we went, can it be slightly narrow at the top? It keeps it warmer that way for longer.
Oh, is that true?
And yes, and an important shape of the handle. I think when you have your morning...
That's not normal, is it?
Yeah, it's actually really good. You can really get your hand round
There
it.
you go, guys.
Do you know what I mean?
Didn't mean to make this like some kind of infomercial. Anyway, mug's a cute idea. And I also think, like, I'm taking my mum to a concert, a choral concert, because she loves to listen to amazing singing at the Royal Albert Hall. And it's something that my dad would just not really want to do. So I think that, and I'll enjoy it too, but Mother's Day gifts are sometimes just time. Right?
Yes.
And that is
so
the best
true.
gift.
It's the greatest gift time.
Yeah, just hang time.
So true.
Hodge, have you got anything?
Mine is, do you know what it's going to be? It's makeup. I've got a new lip trio.
Oh, walk us through,
Because
babe.
I've been really married to Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk and then NARS Dolce Vita. And I feel I talk about it so much, I bore myself. So I've been on a journey. And I found Kiko.
It's a good price point
03,
too.
which is like a pinky rose. Ilia on top. You put the line on. And then that on top. And then Merit.
For anyone just listening, Hodge is now putting
I'm
all
putting
the...
it on. Merit.
Talk about Merit.
Pointel.
Gorgeous.
Oh, that's
so,
gorgeous.
I was in Chicago last week and a friend was wearing Merit and it's a colour called Cora Cora. And I was like, need this immediately. Discontinued. Anyone? If you can get me a Cara Cara or Cora Cora Merit. I'm obsessed.
Send it your way.
It's discontinued in the US and the UK. And I always manage to hone in on the one thing that is no longer available.
And then my other thing is this Institute Estadem. I'm terrible at pronunciation. Estadem. And it's a Hydra Booster Mist. So you just put it on.
Oh, let's have a go.
I know. And you put it on after your makeup or skincare. And it just
God,
sets
I'm boosted
it.
already.
And then it's really
God.
hydrating.
I love a little mist.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
actually a really good one.
I know.
I have a little baby Barbara Stern one. I take it on the plane.
Ooh.
It's
Oh,
really
that's a good one.
Really good.
And I'd really recommend this. I feel my skin is a bit dewier. And it reactivates cellular youth.
Oh, which is what we all want,
Who
babe.
doesn't want that?
We want those youthful cells popping.
Guys, before we move on to the next segment, we have a competition with Our Place. You can win the cookware duo.
I do love our place.
I love it.
The Always Pan 2.0 and the perfect pot. To enter, please leave a comment on YouTube about why you love the SL podcast. So underneath this podcast, right? We will pick one winner and announce it on next week's podcast. T's and C's are in the notes below. Do you guys cook?
So I cook via Mindful Chef, but I was the worst cook beforehand. Like, I couldn't even boil an egg. I actually don't think I still would be able to boil an egg without being supervised, without being told how to do it.
Just imagine you in your kitchen just silently listening.
It's more like chaos. And my
Okay.
boyfriend's always like, goes to the kitchen after I've cooked, and he's like, why is it so bad?
Oh my God. I'm such a tidy chef. I clean as I'm going.
Me too.
I can't
I mean, I
bear it.
don't
I
really
can't
cook,
eat
to be
then. It bums me out when you sit down to eat and you know the kitchen is a shit show.
Same.
I mean, it's just a disaster from start to
know,
finish for me.
yeah.
But I do use Our Place pans.
Do you really?
Yeah, you actually do.
Well, you
I
might
do.
know, this might
And
make
the Our
sense.
Place oven, that's amazing.
Oh.
And it's like an air fryer, but it does toasting, it does everything.
Wow.
A game changer.
We're
They've
not
got,
giving
like, a
that
mini
away, I'm
oven.
afraid.
No,
Not yet.
not giving that away, but you can buy it.
This has got a modular steam release lid, a nesting beechwood spatula, and a steamer basket that doubles as a colander.
Yeah, I've got
Yeah,
that.
I've got that.
Way above my pay grade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really
As
good.
someone who can boil an egg, but that's about it.
Do you know why it's good? Because there's a little hole so you can rest the spatula on within the pan and shut the lid.
Yeah, so it's all very clean.
So you don't put it on the side. Which
I love that.
yeah.
And guys, before we do move on, please subscribe to the SheerLuxe podcast. We love it.
We do.
We love a
smile.
subscriber.
It helps us move up the charts.
It does, and it helps people find us, I think, as well. It's time for Mustn't Miss. I think this is my favourite bit. So what's been catching our attention this week? Josh, you are going to talk about Simone Ashley.
So I recently had Simone Ashley on my podcast, Rain. I love her. It's the second time we've had her on. She's so empowering. She can teach you so much about the power of determination. She's a real queen.
I love that.
for
Why?
finding
Just
your
like
power.
high focus.
She's so focused.
Yeah.
And she's such a big dreamer. And I think you can learn so much from being around big dreamers and just
Yeah.
like having infinite thinking about what you can achieve in life. But she said this thing to me, which I am now obsessed with. So when she got a job recently, she took her friends to the pub to celebrate it. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Why are we not throwing more promotion parties, right? Like we spend so much time in our lives going to the baby showers, going to the weddings, going to the hen dos, and I practically have a platinum gold card for how many times I've been on hen dos, weddings, etc. But honestly, the amount of like things I go to, which is celebrating people's like life moments, like the baby, the kids, whatever it might be. We don't actually take the time to celebrate A, ourselves, or B, celebrate the wins for other people.
That's
it's
so
great
true.
to say congrats on your baby, but as Simone says, she says congrats on your baby, but congrats on your win.
Yeah.
Like we need to be celebrating each other
I
more.
know, that's so true. You never really celebrate people's career promotions.
No, like why are we not like having an ease up around
Yeah.
the pub? And for many people, it's just as important as the baby, as the wedding, and it's just as meaningful.
Especially if you're not at that stage in your life where you're having the babies or getting married. You're sort of a bit like,
Yeah, and I think is that like I was single for like years and loved it, by the way. That wasn't like me like crying in the corner about being single. Had a great time. Lots of people can attest to that. And but when it came to like, I didn't feel like people showed up for me in the same way as I was showing up for other people who were
Completely.
going down more traditional routes of like having the baby, having the kids, whatever it might be. And I think we need to do that. And my friend Roxy has just released her new book, Confidence. And one of the chapters is about celebrating yourself. And we're actually so bad at doing it, right?
Do you think that's a cultural thing? Do you think that's a bit British, like, we don't do that? Do you think they would do that more in America, or...?
I think we completely. I feel it's so in America they'll like tell you everything they've done and achieved. Like when we were there a couple of summers ago, and we met some friends who lived there, and then they had a barbecue for us, and they like Americans just tell you what's happened to them.
The whole
and, like,
CV's
I
out.
was like,
Wow.
There's no time for my chat.
You're a
but
big
I
achiever.
feel, but I feel like here people don't do that.
No, and there's a Sex and the City episode where she gets sick of going to baby showers
Yes.
and weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
iconic
she's like
one.
throws herself. Is it just a party for
It's just
her?
a party.
Yeah, there you go.
And I love that.
And she asked for the Manolos. And everyone's like, doesn't
Yes.
she?
Yeah.
And then they're like, it's too expensive.
Yes. Side note, where is the new season
I don't know.
of And Just Like That?
It's coming soon.
Well, you should know, Josh. Come on.
I do know when it's coming.
Do you actually know?
Oh really?
I actually
You
can't
actually
say
can't
that.
say. Okay, but good. So 2025, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know.
it's coming soon. They've already filmed it.
I know, but they filmed it in, I want to say 2023 or very early 24.
Yeah.
And
It's all the strikes, the actor
Is
strikes,
it?
it's delayed it all.
Gosh.
But yes, we need to be celebrating stuff. But also, Roxy has this really great tip, which I love in that book, because you don't necessarily have to start throwing yourself huge promotion parties, especially if you're not used to celebrating
No.
yourself. That's a big step.
Yeah.
And as Simone said, she was like, I felt really awkward about it at first. And then when
Yeah.
she got down to it, she was like having a great time. But she said a simple way of doing that is how we process compliments. Because how
Yeah.
many times do you get a compliment and you go, "Whoa," or you're
Yeah.
like, push
No,
it back?
no, I don't.
No,
Or
you
You're
don't.
like,
No,
I
no,
feel
no,
rank. I feel rank.
I feel rank. Oh my God, it's so wrong. I got so much makeup. Like you said to me earlier, like, oh my God, you look great. And I was like, I look like a dad. And I was like,
it's true, actually.
But actually, what we need to be saying is, and she does this all the time, she goes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And like, that's a way of celebrating yourself that's
I
like an
know.
easy way that you can all start doing it. And
It
we
is.
build up the promotion
We do
parties.
go, I don't, you do.
Yeah.
You're beautiful, I'm rank.
Yeah, I'm rank in comparison to you. Look how stunning you
My
are.
body's covered in scales under all these clothes. But we are so over the top. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous, isn't it? There is something lovely about gracefully accepting a compliment.
Yes.
And then returning it. Oh, thank you so much. You look amazing too.
Yeah.
That's so
That's
kind.
it.
Thank
And
you.
also
it.
non-appearance based compliments
Yeah.
are key. Like to say to someone like, you've got an amazing energy.
Yeah.
Or it's just so nice being around you.
Oh, I
or you're
love
like such an
that.
incredible listener and you've got like that
Yeah.
means so much.
But
to
it
you.
makes you feel good as well to say, to make somebody else stay.
That's very true, actually. I was having this conversation with my husband the other night because we moved back to London 5 years ago from LA. I loved LA, always will, spent 11 years of my life there. But we didn't have the same sense of community. London is like lots of villages, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I said, God, I was trying to work out, like, I know the chemist's name.
Yeah.
I know the barista in 3 cafes and they know the kids. And I was naming so many different places down our little high street that those are the moments that scientifically proven now actually give you the greatest happiness of like morning Hodge, flat white, and it's those moments that apparently I remember reading this quite a big study grounds you but gives you more dopamine hit than being with your mates.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Have you heard this?
Yeah.
This isn't
I
a
actually
new
wrote about
study.
it in my book.
Of course
Great
you
chat.
did. I love that.
No, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's like those
They lift
moments of
you.
connection.
And those are random acts of kindness in a way, because it's like it's a lovely
Completely.
conversation. And actually, I think sometimes there might be an older generation, they haven't seen anyone for 2 days and they go to the chemist, and it's that like, interaction that is all they've had.
Completely.
So it really, they need
It's
that even
vital.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, God, I love old people so
Oh,
much.
me too.
Oh, they just make my heart
There
sing.
were hardly any in LA where we lived anyway. My dad used to sit in the local trendy cafe, and it was on Melrose Place, which was so cool. He used to sit there, and there were always paps around this cafe because I'm not kidding. I saw Harry Styles in there 4 times.
wow.
Oh, babe.
Bieber and Hailey a few times.
people watching galore.
It was, and Dad was always up early, and he'd sit there and he'd say, "I'm the oldest person in this neighbourhood by like 60 years, not even like
Oh
40
my
or 50.
God. Where do they all go
I
then?
don't know. I think
Florida?
out. Yes, or just further out. Yes, Florida.
It's really good tax there, isn't it? Florida.
Yeah.
And the weather.
When they go Florida, they've got such great tax. You're working for the Florida Tourist Board or something, babe.
Is it better tax?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
like-
she's with the research. That's where you're going.
I'm not that old.
No, I'm guys, Palm Beach, which used to be only old people.
Where's Palm Beach? Is that Florida?
The coolest, well, some may say, like a very, very tiny, wealthy pocket of Florida. This is where Mar-a-Lago is, but we won't go into that. But but there are lots of young people now moving there. So I think the
great.
key is that young people are now finding these really cool old retiree areas that are actually beautiful, like they've nailed life and starting to live there. It's a thing.
Yeah.
And early retirements.
And they've got cash to burn.
You don't have to
these
retire.
retirees.
You move there and you still have a
Oh,
job.
right, it's not like a rule.
We should set up a business that they've got cash to burn.
So Hodge, you were going to talk about a trench shoot.
Yes. Lou Huff, our creative fashion director extraordinaire, she did a trend shoot yesterday and she picked 7 high street trenches and they're all banging and very good value. And to Savary, which is a brand that is just Jane and Tash and has just been rebranded, she has got a mega one. It's got like a tan leather under the collar, so the collar pops. It's really good.
I like a full length to the ground trench.
The
Is
longer
it long?
the better, yeah. You've got to have long.
Amazing.
You've got to have long.
Yes.
That's where they go wrong when they're sort of here.
I feel like that
They'll be
about all
there.
coats, actually. It is definitely trench weather. Mine's already had its first outing.
Yeah.
I've got a good one from Camilla and Mark. And actually, a trench is something you should invest in that lasts you at least 10
Completely.
years. It's not going anywhere. A bit of an oversized shoulder.
Yeah.
I love it. Right, on to Hot Topic. Let's chat all things culture, celebrities, and wider news. I'm going to go first and tell you what has caught my eye this week. I've mentioned this on the show before, but I am an avid keep phones away from kids and teenagers, right? Then obviously adolescence has had an enormous impact, brilliantly, to the point of Keir Starmer talking about it in the House of
it's
Commons
wild, isn't
and
it?
his 2 teenage, I think, sons. And yesterday, it popped up on my breaking news that Denmark has banned iPhones in all schools, not just primary, but secondary as well, and after school clubs, which I think is important because often I know friends whose kids will go to the after school club and that's when all the phones come out. And that is a huge
Humongous.
thing. If anyone wants to know more than my sort of limited knowledge on this, there is a brilliant, I guess they're a charity, but they are on Instagram and it's called iPhone Free Childhood. And that's the tag. And their movement, they sort of keep everyone informed. And when anyone famous or impactful is adding their 2 cents, like the guy who wrote Adolescence has backed this movement as well, which is really cool.
God, it is so petrifying. We've watched 2 episodes with my 12-year-old.
Really?
Oh, wow. What, I'm
He's
so
in year
intrigued.
7.
What was... Is it your son?
My son, yeah.
What was his reaction?
So we need to watch the other 2 because we couldn't watch them last night. But he was sort of disturbed But we haven't got to the nitty gritty, which I think is in episode 3, which is about sort of her bullying him and, you know, the comments online. And so we got to a bit about the emojis, and I was sort of saying to him, you know, do you understand that the different emojis mean different things? And he was like, yeah, I mean, it's good for him to watch. Like, he's 12, and it's absolutely fine for him to watch. If anyone's thinking about whether they should or shouldn't, I would say do it, because it's such an easy way to have the conversations then about phones, if he can see what's happened. And this kid is just, it's wild, isn't it?
And this kid's only a year older than him.
Yeah, that's what I said.
The kid in it, Jamie,
8.
is 13.
Yeah.
And I think the idea is that he comes from quote unquote normal family.
But also, like, and not to sound like a granddad here, but like, I never had a mobile phone at school. I don't get why you need it.
But Zach went to senior school in September, and we were really anti. We didn't want him to have a phone. You know, we felt victim to everyone's got one but him. And he's an hour away, so he has a 2-hour coach ride there and back every day. And he is allowed on his phone for 2 hours a day for parental controls, and then it just goes off.
There's a study that I saw where someone did some research, and it takes 23 minutes for a young boy to be served misogynistic content online.
Oh my God.
On TikTok or on YouTube Shorts.
Really?
So even if, like, for instance,
he's
not to panic you
no,
here, but
he's not on TikTok and he's not on Instagram, but
that's scary. So they
know.
could be looking at completely normal content, and then 23 minutes in, they're going to be served something that is completely dangerous.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It's so hard to manage, and sort of the horse is bolted.
Yes,
It's
I
really
agree. The horse
hard.
is bolted, but I think there are 3 sets of people, the sort of parents, and if that becomes a thing where there is solidarity, and actually the kid that has the phone becomes the odd one out rather than vice versa.
Completely.
Government, because if something's a law, then it's not just up to the schools to decide each case. The tech companies, and they are now, or have done, release, because a lot of parents said, yes, but I want to see where they are. Like, is there a map on it? Can they find their way home? Can I sort of track them? And I believe there is now a phone where you can do that. It's a dumb phone, but you can still track where they are. So if you're worried about safety, because that would be my only concern.
It's really hard
so-
because for Christmas, Zach said, all I want for Christmas is Snapchat. And we were like, no,
is that still cool?
no Snapchat. And then, anyway, we gave in because all of his friends have got it. And he's like, everyone only communicates by Snapchat. No one communicates by WhatsApp.
That's the thing. I know it's not going to be overnight,
It's
but
really
imagine
hard.
if that wasn't the case anymore.
Social media for children, I feel like so lucky to the childhood that we had that we didn't know if we weren't invited to parties. Because you didn't see...
It's non-stop. And home, I think adolescence makes the point that home used to be a real safe space. And that's kind of flipped on its head.
And the bullies can get you at home.
Do you have really open dialogue about it? And do you say things like, I will pick up that phone
Yeah,
whenever
I check
want.
his phone all the
You check
time.
it's my phone, not your phone.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
no phones in his bedroom.
Yeah.
You know, and as soon as he gets home from school, the phone goes away.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's
and he's
great.
not on at weekends.
That's good.
But he's super, super sporty. He loves sport. So I feel that's all he wants to do is play sport and then look at BBC Sport on his iPad. I mean, he's basically his dad.
But that's great. Sport's a huge thing. And or if it's drama or music or any kind of hobby.
You need to really embrace those passions and, you know, so they've got other things to think about and other things that give them self-worth. As a parent, I just want to get them to 18 unscathed. That's all you want to do.
And also it's about encouraging them not to have the conversations online, but have the conversations in real life.
Yes.
Completely.
Like, that's the scary thing now, isn't it? Because there's so many times... I remember when I was a kid, we used to go out and play with, like, all the people around us. I mean, I grew up in the middle of nowhere, but, like... So everyone you used to go around each other's houses.
Yeah.
You weren't spending all this time just like scrolling through your phone, messaging each other. I mean, we had MSN Messenger, which was savage at times. But apart from that, if you know, you know. But like that was the Wild West. But we were actively encouraged to go out and talk to our friends, and that isn't the key thing now, is it?
You know, Kristen Bell's husband, Dax Shepard, has a great podcast. And Jonathan Haidt was on it recently, and he said he was playing devil's advocate. And he said, but teenage pregnancy has gone down, teenage drinking's gone down. We never used to see,
because they're in.
And he was like, yeah, because they're in the bedroom.
They're in the house.
And you can't get pregnant when you're on your own in your bedroom. And it was an interesting moment that they put as a clip that went kind of viral.
Yeah.
And not that we want to tell them to go and get pregnant, but the point is, there's no interaction in person, to your point. We are really putting the world to rights.
We are.
Josh is about to talk about the end of nightclubs.
Which I'm really sad about. So this news has come out that over a third of nightclubs have closed down in the UK. and the nightclub industry is dying a slow and painful death. And I think this is so sad because like hedonism is so important to our society. And like what we were just saying, we need people to go out and be in community with one another and just have a good slut drop.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, the death of the slut drop is upon us with the death of the nightclubs.
There's our trailer.
Like, it's just so sad. Like, when I was growing up, I learned...
Are you good at slut drops?
I've had a lot of
We're being
practice,
so
babe.
PC, the whole, and then slut drop, probably shouldn't say that anymore. But
Oh, you can definitely do that because it's all about embodying
fine.
Can you do
the
the split?
culture.
No, can you?
No. God, I wish I could.
Are you doing the splits in the club?
But 3 of my
Bet you
best
were.
girlfriends can do the split.
What?
Wow.
And they
I bet
still
I know one of
do
them.
it.
We need to take them out on a big night out.
Yeah.
I had the best nights of my life going out
I
clubbing.
know.
And
And then
there's
you get
just so
food
many
on the way
funny-
home.
There's so many funny stories. Like I was at home last weekend and my mum was telling me this story. She was like, oh my God, do you remember when you first brought a boy back home? And I was like, oh God. And then and it's a really funny story, so I might as well share it. We went on this like big night out to this nightclub. I live in like the middle of nowhere in Cambridgeshire. This was in Cambridge. I'd already been living in London by this point. And I came home for the weekend and clearly was like really feeling myself, like really bold. I'm going to bring a boy back home from the nightclub. And it basically is literally in the middle of nowhere. Like you cannot get anywhere from my house.
Oh my
It's
God.
like a tiny village. And I brought this boy back. And then and I was like, oh my God, I don't have any money to pay for the taxi. So I went into the house, like rifled through my mum's handbag to pay for the taxi. She comes downstairs. I'm like, so I told this boy who was in the taxi to go hide in the garden. She let the dog out in the garden once I was inside. She's like, go to bed now if you like. So you're meant to be staying at Ellie's. Why are you even here? I was like, okay, I'll go to bed now. And I'm upstairs being like, oh my God, what am I going to do? This boy's in the garden. What am I going to do? She lets the dog out. And this poor boy is like, she's like, why is this dog going mental? Like barking. And then he's like backed against this wall. She comes out. She's like, well, I'm Josh's mum. And he's like, oh my God. Comes up to my room, which is still literally as I left it when I was 16 years old.
Single bed.
There's single bed and there's like a Girls Aloud poster on the wall. And I woke up in the morning and I was like, oh my God, you have to go. This is like the worst thing I've ever done.
Oh my God.
And then he then had to walk across the countryside to go back home. I never saw him again,
That is
obviously.
a script to a rom-com.
Yeah.
Literally.
You won't get these stories if we don't have nightclubs.
No,
This is
you've got
true.
no stories.
They got no stories.
Chat.
Like literally like going out for dinner does not generate great
Yeah,
stories.
no.
Like it can do sometimes,
Yeah.
especially if you
Yeah.
go out for dinner with you. But like we need to bring back this like hedonism, like, oh, just go out and have fun,
I
be
know.
free culture.
I know.
It's true. No, I totally agree. I was... My next thing is going to make me look like a real snooty. But I was going to talk about the theatre.
Stunning.
Only because this is one of the most epic lineups for a red carpet for a theatre opening I've ever seen. So last night, Othello opened in New York City, and it's
Oh my God.
Denzel
Wow.
and Jake Gyllenhaal. This is just half of the names that showed up. Katie Holmes, Cynthia Nixon, Joe Biden, Anna Wintour, and J-Lo.
What?
J-Lo.
That would be a
How
good
cool
dinner.
is that for a theatre? And I just,
Yeah.
I am a big fan of the theatre and the arts. And I think particularly after it's been a slow burn back after lockdown and everything, and they were not funded properly, and that's another story. But it makes me very happy to now go to the theatre in London or wherever and see a packed house. People
Yeah.
are dressing
Yeah.
up again for the theatre. I know this was New York, but still the idea is like it's just a huge, important thing. And I love that.
Yeah.
But
Love
J-Lo's
that.
dress was also fab. Yeah.
I'm in a WhatsApp group, and this lovely girl Rosie organises our out. It's called Outings to the Theatre. That's the name of the WhatsApp group. So she books us everything in.
Oh, I love that.
I know.
Clueless is about to open.
Yes. Oh, I could.
Have you-
my
wanna
God,
take
I
a-
haven't seen it.
I'm sure you'll go to that.
Oh my God. And also Rachel Zegler, big up Rachel Zegler again, is coming to London to play Evita.
Oh
in the
my
summer,
God.
and it's going to be
Oh, I want to see that.
extraordinary.
Wow, okay.
Like, and if you saw her in West Side Story, the remake.
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, her voice is sensational. And also, if you've seen Snow White, you'll love it too.
Wow.
She's so great. I'm so
Okay.
excited.
My great-grandparents lived in Buenos Aires during
stunning.
Evita's reign.
Oh, babes.
Stunning / terrifying.
Wow.
Yeah.
They kept a tea cozy, if we even know what those are,
Yeah, I
over
do.
the phone because everybody just knew that your phone was bugged. It was normal to know that. So you didn't talk about politics. And
Wow.
that kind of
That
muffled
is
it.
Oh, so you have to go see Evita.
I must.
Yeah.
Shall we crack on to dilemmas? How can I best tell someone that they are overusing Botox and lip fillers?
Oh my God! Shit.
I just think...
Sorry for the people listening for that scream.
I just think it's your face, your rules. So I don't think you should have any interest or any judgment on what someone's doing to their face.
Okay.
I genuinely think that. I don't think you should be passing judgment on someone's face. But maybe you could gently ask, like, because sometimes if you are overdoing it, there's probably like a reason why, that probably a deeper issue why, maybe.
I think you could just be like, you look amazing, but you stay as you are, you look perfect.
Yeah. I just think let people do what they want to do with their faces.
I'm so bad at noticing.
I'm the opposite.
Can you notice?
People I know.
Yeah.
I'm like known as the one that will like immediately
It's
see
weird
the
because I
tweak.
can always notice a haircut,
But not...
but not. And well, my girlfriend will be like, "Oh
No,
my
you
God,
can
did you see
tell.
so and so's fillers?" And
Even
I'm like,
when it's
"No."
good, I can just tell.
Yeah.
All right, Hodge, help. I'm invited to meet the king next week. What should I wear?
Sorry. What a dilemma.
I told you these would be good ones.
Yeah.
Snappy, let's go.
I would wear a trouser suit, sort of like a buttermilk yellow.
Love. Do you know who's got one right now? Nobody's Child. Beautiful.
Perfect.
And
And then
also
like
a
a
big
white.
hat. You have to
And
have a
the
hat
hat.
to meet
Yeah.
the king.
Yeah, I think
Do
so.
you think?
Indoors.
I don't know. It depends what it is.
Depends
yeah,
where
if it's
you
indoors.
are.
Oh, because I'm imagining like an investiture situation. So I'm like, oh my God,
okay.
the big hat.
I was
garden
imagining
party.
there being like knighted or something, but maybe.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because I'd be like,
Yeah.
I want a big hat
Where
for
would you
that.
buy a hat? I don't know.
I need it to be Ascot time for me to think of them all, but there's
Are you
some
doing
brilliant
Ascot?
ones. Hopefully. I'll definitely be there. I fancy my personal trainer. What do I do?
Fuck him.
Are you allowed to say that?
I
I'm
just
gonna
think you
bleep.
need to. Also, if there's a vibe, get on board.
Okay, fine. So we're presuming this
If you're
person's not
both-
married.
Yeah, well, I'm
they're
not
both
encouraging you to-
Okay, they're both
No,
single.
if you're both single and it's okay, then I just think
Yeah,
go
why
for
not?
it. Like, and also it makes it a bit more interesting
Yeah.
when you're doing those, like, what do you do in the gym?
Burpees, squats.
Like the burpees or like
The
the,
rope.
bench presses. I mean, you
Yeah.
want something to look at. You
Yeah.
need some motivation.
I
So-
think it's quite a sexual charged
Well,
relationship.
it can
isn't
be.
it?
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
doing some kind of thigh stretch.
Yeah.
I know someone who is a personal trainer who did that, but did it in the gym at the end of the session.
Oh, sweaty.
That's like a script to an XX-rated
Yeah.
show,
It's
isn't
part
it?
of your rom-com.
Yes, that'd be the
The
next
poor
part of
boy
my
running through the
rom-com.
Cambridgeshire fields.
Feels. I
that
would love
be
it if you
legit?
watched this and then got back in touch and be like, oh my God.
Hodge, 2 skin products that you swear by.
I am a real SkinCeuticals girl, so I swear by the CE Fluoric Vitamin C Serum and the HA Intensifier.
How to deal with job application rejections and not hearing back. I would say do follow up. I'd say you can follow up twice, maybe leave it a little bit in between. And I think it's a completely fair question to ask, do you have any feedback?
Yeah.
Because that can be
Yes.
very helpful. And the person should, if you've had an interview, you should hopefully get that. If
Completely.
you've just had a CV in and you haven't gone to an interview stage, the only other thing is it can take time just purely because that business might have been overloaded with like 100 applications and, so just be patient, but I think you can follow up twice.
Completely.
And if you've had an interview, for sure,
Yeah.
ask for feedback. Do you want one more?
Oh, let's do one more.
It's a bit juicy.
Oh, yes.
How do you deal with jealous friends? I made it sound juicy by doing that.
Oh, well, I always think jealousy comes from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So I think if someone is showing jealousy towards you in your life, I think you need to take them to one side and be like, what's going on? Because I feel like you're acting this way around me. And is there something going on with you? And have an
Yeah.
actual discussion about it. And then if they're completely jealous to you all the time, they're not celebrating you or anything like that, I think you actually have to just cut them out. Like, be savage. Because there's no point having people around you who aren't going to support you, who aren't going to lift you up. And I read a study the other day that that 95% of our psyche is informed by the people who are around us.
Yes.
So if you're around jealous people who are like cutting you down the whole time, you're going to start believing it.
Yeah.
And babes, it's your life.
Yeah.
It's your life.
Yeah.
It's not theirs, it's yours. So if someone is tearing you down through jealousy, cut them. If
think-
you can't have constructive.
Is it the
chat
8
about
to
it.
10 people that you surround yourself with most? It's sort of what you absorb in every way. Dress
Yeah.
sense,
God.
beliefs,
Yeah.
confidence, food you eat.
Yeah.
You more than you think. You take it all on. And I think that perhaps at school where there were toxic friendships, but it became quote unquote normal, I certainly had that. You're like, oh, it's fine. Whereas as an adult, it's not okay. We're all time poor spend it with those who make you feel good. And it's that gut feeling of like, are you making me feel good right now? And it's not always easy to cut, but you can have the plan to, and then you slowly do it bit by bit. And I always talk about different levels of friendship. Again, not always easy, but you have your bubble.
Tier 1.
Right?
Yeah.
But you do. You have those who you share everything with. And then you have those who you can still absolutely be mates. It's not fake friendship. You just don't let them close enough that they could ever hurt you. And sometimes I have lots of those. And I still really like them, but I'm not going to let them hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's so good.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this before with tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 friendships.
Yeah.
And Hodge is desperate to be in tier 1. But
For you.
I'm in tier 2.
She's in tier 2 now.
But we're quite new
gosh.
friends, so
We're
I feel
new
like I've
friends.
made quite an
Oh my God, 'cause
accelerated
you went
entry.
tier 4. Like, literally.
Is there a tier 4?
No, so you break it down into tiers. I've talked about this on the show before. So tier 1 is like the people you know are going to show up for you and you're going to show up for them regardless, even when the chip's down. Tier 2 is kind of like the more like, you know, like the ones you're saying, like the bubble friends. And then tier 3 are kind of like the acquaintances you like hang out with and it's fun. And then tier 4 are the ones where, you know, it's kind of like going a bit sour.
They're falling off the cliff.
They're falling off the cliff. So when we met, I talked about this and she was like, I need to be in tier 1. And then so we made a lot of effort, haven't we?
Yeah.
Like we've hung out loads
Yeah.
since. So tier 1 is calling, babes.
I know.
Ding, ding, ding.
I know, your tier 1s do not like it. I get lots of aggressive
Next one's going to be
messages.
chucked down into tier 2.
Yeah,
Make
one in,
room.
one out.
Yeah, but it's important to do that. I know it sounds really savage, but it's important to look at the people around you.
Yeah.
And also it allows you to welcome new people in, like Hodge, for instance.
Sabrina Alba was on the other day actually, and she was saying when she moved to London, she found it so hard to make friends because everyone is so tight and they've got their friendship circle. And I think, but you've always got to be open to new friends who bring you new joy. And
any age.
as you grow up, you need different things in your life. And
That's a big one. Yeah.
the White Lotus 3
Yes.
toxic
Oh my God,
friendship.
Are you up to date?
Yes.
Yes.
Never go on a trio girls trip.
I know.
I had Michelle Monaghan
I
from
saw.
Yeah.
I
White
love
Lotus in the
her.
podcast. She's so
How
great.
hot is she?
She's
Yeah.
so
She's
hot.
It's like the sexiest thing
Yeah.
alive.
Oh my God. And also that role of Jacqueline is just so iconic because
Yeah.
those conversations they have in those
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that trio.
Oh my
you've
well
all
done.
been part of them.
I have been part of it.
It's like watching a car crash in slow motion, that friendship group. And it's so stunning because you know what? I love a girls' trip, but I do kind of love it when it goes a bit wrong. When you're not involved in the
Yeah.
drama and you can just sit at the side, sip that
Oh my
cocktail and be
God.
like,
But it's like as soon as one leaves the room and they say, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, she looks great,
great.
isn't she? She looks so
So
good."
great.
Do you think she's all right though? And then they start piling in, and you're like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, you never want to go to bed first."
oh my God, I would
No.
never go to bed first.
Never go to bed
In
first.
a trio, never go to bed first.
Shit, I'll be like, I'm just so tired, but
That was like the one that was in her pajamas staying up when
Yes.
she just wanted to go to bed. We've all been there. You're like sipping water.
Yeah.
I was like, that'd be me. That's me. By the way, what is your cocktail? When you said you just watch and sip your cocktail, what's your...
Oh, I'm a margarita boy.
Spicy?
No spice, can't stand the
Salt?
spice, no salt.
Oh.
I'm
On the rocks.
I'm on the rocks,
Okay.
baby. No rim.
I love it. Thank you. I was about to say something else, but I think we'll end there. No rim. That wraps up today's episode. Thank you so much, Josh and Hodge. Tier 1 incoming. We'll see you
root
next
for you,
week.
babe.
Oh,
you, babe.
sweethearts.
Come on.
Don't tangle things.
You can join our group.
You've said it now. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Subscribe. Don't forget to enter the competition. Get your pots and pans out.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. That was a joy.
that
was
was
so
a joy.
good.
That's really made me happy.
Yeah,
Good.
That's what Good Great Chats are
Yeah.
about, guys. We're hitting the nightclubs.
And we're
We've got
banning
a lot to
phones.
do, and we're banning phones.
While sipping on mugs.
Yeah, while sitting on
no
Mars.
rim.
That's actually a stunning itinerary for a day.
These two can't stop laughing. I shall just say thank you so much for listening and watching. See you next time.